Fellow tennis nerds, I'm here with Adam. He's holding a Radical. He wants to add an extra overgrip to it because that's the way he plays. Today, we're gonna try to find a new racket for him. We have a whole cancha bag full of rackets, starting maybe with the Radical up to him. Has a pro player string job over there. So what's your expectations for this day? Trying to find kind of like a match racket for you in the future?
Basically, yeah, I have a very, comfortable Prince that I'm used to, but it's pretty much only good from the baseline. It's not the best racket for serves, volleys. So I'm looking for something that's like a 98 square inch head, able to just pick it up and compete right off the bat, play some doubles with it too. So I'm looking for an all-rounded racket, but I get hoping that I get some help from the technology in all these rackets. I hit with the Radical the other day. I thought it was great to just pick up and play with. So looking for something similar. I may experiment with some lead tape, but all these rackets look really promising.
Yeah, it will be interesting. So our job here is to find at least like 2-3 candidates for Adam at the end of the video. So keep watching and see where we end up. I think 16, 19, 98 or 16, 20 is the theme of the day. We didn't add any 18, 20. It's a little bit too dense for his playing style. And we did add one extended one, the Solinco Whiteout V2. That's the 27.5 inch, which is kind of where he's coming from. But I think from what I heard from you, Adam, is you want to kind of go back to a more standard length if you can. Exactly.
Basically, I just have more choices. There's just a better selection.
The bag with the rackets, Whiteout, Blade, Arrow, TF40, Whiteout again, standard length, Paula Pure Strike, something Adam wanted to try, Axis 98 from Diadem, Solinco, Dunlop SX 300 Tour. So a bag full of goodies, the Tennis Nerd bag, Cancha Bag Pro, and let's get going. So we have tested rackets again. This is the third time in the Adam series, as we can call it, and he's trying to look for a racket for his future competitions. He plays both doubles and singles, and he's a crafty player. He likes to move the ball around.
Started with the Radical, which I liked a lot from the playtest the other day. Today it was strung a little tighter, but it wasn't a bad thing. We added about 2 grams of lead tape at 12 o'clock, and this is a perfect example of where lead tape enhanced the racket. It didn't change it in any sort of way. It still felt the same Radical nature. Did everything right. I actually served at the end, and I was able to get some pretty good pop on my serves compared to anything I'd been using recently, like Prince and even the Yonex. I would say that this is probably my top choice right now because I said it the other day, it does everything well. I can just pick it up, shorten my strokes, get the same results, a lot of spin, and really good shots from inside the court, which is something that I need, in doubles as well. So just a great looking racket too, and a good feel, which is important. Absolutely zero arm pain.
Awesome, yeah, this is also a favorite of mine, and I thought the string tensions coming from an ATP Pro who strung it maybe too tight. I don't know if he added any customization, would be too tight, but I actually like with some added weight, it plays really nicely. It feels like kind of like ready for the tour, kind of that feeling. Some rackets have that. So, and I did notice your shots, as soon as you added that weight, you could more like relaxed hit them so close to the line, and made my life a bit more difficult, So very good option, should be on the list for you to choose. And then we tried the TF40. This was a racket that you really liked in our last session, and you were very comfortable with. How did it feel today?
It was almost as good, if not just as good as the Radical, and it needed zero customization. I got really good pop on my serves, actually maybe even a little more than the Radical. And from the baseline, it's a very similar racket. You don't really have to think twice about what kind of shot you're going to play. It just comes out naturally. Good spin and really good shots from inside the court. I hit some volleys and it felt really good. It is a good feeling racket. I will say that the grip is a little more rectangular than most, and the first time I picked it up, it felt great. Second time I overthought it a little bit, and that's obviously in my head, but it is something to consider when you pick a racket. You have to pick it up and say, okay, yeah, this feels like an extension of the arm or a wand or whatever you want to call it to play with. But incredible racket. This is really high on the list.
Yeah, those are two that I mean, actually told him straight away before that. I was like, my prediction was 1, 2, 3, and I think I was spot on because I was also playing on the other side. So you feel the ball, you feel like what's heavy, where he controls the ball well. So those are the two control rackets that seem to suit your game really well. So the Blade is in that same category. These three rackets are like strong competitors, right?
Yeah, Blade is a very good feeling racket. I did feel it was a little more unforgiving than the others. If you don't hit it in the center, the ball actually goes nowhere. But that's user error, of course, but that's going to happen in a match. And I would say it does everything well. I hit some good serves with it too, but I wasn't getting the extra help that I'm looking for, right? You know, and this new Wilson grommet allows you to customize, put some lead tape under the frame. I don't know if that's a good idea with this racket. I'm not sure if blades are meant to be that customized, but you certainly can try it, and that may be the right recipe. In stock form, I just needed that little bit of help. But a great feeling racket.
Yeah, it's a classic, that Blade, but yeah, some people not fans of V9, some people more fans of V7, V8, but some love it, and the quality control is better with the V9. So yeah, it's one of those rackets that's more control than you think, let's say, you know?
Yeah.
And then you went to the Solinco Whiteout V2 1619. There's no 1820 of this racket as of yet, but I assume it's coming. What was your thoughts there?
Very good looking racket, has to be said. I really like the camo pixelated design of the paint, and a good shape too. No nonsense, quite square. I noticed it had a very high launch, not necessarily spin, but it just had a very high launch. I think the string pattern is quite open. And that's not a bad thing. It's good to get the high launch, but I did struggle flattening it out a little bit and getting that extra bit of weight behind my shots. Even though it is a good spec, it's what I would be looking for in a racket. And it felt solid. I was surprised how solid it felt. Reminded me maybe a little bit of a Prince feel, but a good racket. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I completely relate to that. Like the racket is a very solid frame, but it has a little bit more of a slightly, I wouldn't say erratic, maybe it's maybe a rough word, but it's a little bit less dependent on flat shots than the Radical and the Blade as examples, or the TF4.
Yeah, and that's what I was looking for. Being able to flatten out a shot on the run, or hitting an approach shot as well. Didn't quite have that.
You're an all-courter. You need the all-court tennis to be
right.
to be happening on the court. Okay, so then we moved over to a little bit more feisty rackets. We started with the Strike. It's still a control racket, but with Babolat, they put some power in their frames, whether that's from racket stiffness or more open string patterns or whatnot. And what did you feel here?
I actually really like this one. It was fun. It's a Babolat. Make no mistake, it's very powerful. I know it's their control-oriented frame, but I was actually sailing a few at first, coming from all these other rackets, but it felt really good. Quite flexible. I don't know what the RA is, but it felt quite comfortable for a Babolat. And you felt connected to your shots, and I was able to get good weight, just weight behind my shots. Not necessarily the most flat or the most spinny, but I think I was able to push you back a little bit with the weight of the shots. I did notice very tight string pattern in the middle, and it really fans out over the edges. And I think that gives a little more forgiveness if you hit it around the frame, a little extra spin for control, but and it's a good shape. I think it's a very good shape racket. I hit some serves with it and was able to hit very, very big flat serves. So good frame, something to consider as well.
Yeah, it should be on the list, I think, for sure. It's a racket that gives you a bit more pop. It's not as versatile as the Radical because it has a bit more power to it, but it's nothing crazy, nothing as powerful as the Drive 98, which was the next racket you tried. And you liked this last time. This time you felt like you enjoyed it, but you had a pretty clear opinion that this is not for me.
Yeah, it was a very good racket, extremely solid, and you feel connected to the ball. So, and with good pace, good spin, I just don't feel like I could pick it up and compete with it. A couple balls, I feel like if you swing out, you could probably sail them, and then it would take a hit to the confidence, and then I'd find myself shortening my strokes a little. but it's a really good racket. It would be a really fun experiment to actually play a match with it and see, how effective it is. But a really good racket. The weight's perfect. I wouldn't change one thing about the weight, string pattern, or feel. It's just not the racket for me.
No, and sometimes you know it even though you can't knock it, right? So there's no like huge downside to a frame. It's just like, okay, this is not my racket, but I can see why it works for other players. Like that's also fine, and that's sometimes as a playtester what you have to relate to the people, that it's not a bad racket because I don't like it. It's just not for me.
No, it's an extremely good racket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You tried the Arrow as well. That's a racket that you are, like maybe on the fence about. You felt a little bit of stiffness. It's not uncommon with this racket that people complain a little bit of like stiffness issues, wrist, elbow. It's not as stiff as the VS, but it is a firm racket. This also is like not the softest string either, so it could help.
Yeah, today it actually felt a little harsh on the arm. Maybe I'm trying a lot of rackets, but it felt the harshest on my wrist today. You feel connected to your shot, and that's what gives you the power and the liberty to swing out with it. But you do have to swing big with this racket every time. I don't think you can really shortcut and, flatten out your shots if you're, struggling for like confidence. I think I would probably struggle with this. Maybe with lead tape, that could fix the issue with me mentally around this racket. But I mean, it's a really good racket. Again, it's popular for a reason, right? It's just probably not the one for me compared to all these others.
No, I agree. You're more of an all quarter, and I think that one, I would say generally, like if it feels, because it doesn't feel really harsh to me, but that's because I'm used to the racket. But if it feels not great straight away, I don't think you should overdo it and try to find a way to like a racket. It's usually quite direct, and the feedback is very instant kind of with the rackets.
Yeah.
You went then to a softer version of this one, because these are very similar in mold. So this is the Diadem Axis 98, and it's like pretty much an arrow in the shape, but it's not. If you feel the sharpness of the throat, it's a different throat design. I think that throat is a bit sharper, but they are obviously very similar in string pattern and design. But this one is quite a lot more dampened, so you didn't have the issue with comfort, I guess, right?
I tried this one right after the Arrow, and it actually felt really comfortable. And it's got the lead at 12s, probably helped. And it's a good shape racket. Obviously, it's almost identical, but the grip is very good too. So first time I'm picking up a Diadem, I'm very impressed. And I was actually getting, just as much spin and power as the Arrow. 16 by 20, I believe. So yeah, just a good racket. It's probably not one I would put in the bag, because this is a racket that if you want to be on the offensive most of the time, you would probably play with this racket, Arrow, even the Pure Drive. And that's not my game, but really impressive, cool design.
Yeah, you need to always attack the ball with these rackets. Otherwise, they tend to sail a bit, like on the defensive, I would say. They're aggressive-minded rackets. The Dunlop was the next spin racket in the lineup, and the last one we tried today. Not for you, in short, but what was the sensation?
Also a good racket, but I thought it looks and feels a little chunky, without a lot of heft behind it. It's about the same, it's 305 grams, so it's a good weight, but it doesn't feel like I got a lot of weight behind my shots. Decent spin, it's got a pretty open string pattern. It would probably need a fair amount of lead for it to fit in my, my range, but a good racket. It's an interesting shape all around. I think Dunlop's done a good job, and the grip felt good too. So yeah, it was interesting, but again, one of the ones that wasn't for me.
Yeah, great, man. Okay, so I think the top three then, if you would tell what would be like your next step in the phase. Obviously, it's something you have to try a bit more. Maybe we have time to do that. You can obviously borrow them and test them if you want. So the Radical, and what else?
The TF40. Radical, TF40, and then the Pure Strike.
Yeah, I think those three were the ones that you played the best with, and we hit some serves, with no camera because it overheated. But those were the ones that looked like immediately very natural on the serve, and you were connected to them without any kind of early complaints. So it was kind of a typical sign that this is for you. So move to the next step. 3 good choices.
Yeah, very exciting. Thank you.